Let's talk about Ice Cube, everyone. This is Acid Roots. We've got his 2006 album right in front of us, which is called Laugh Now, Cry Later. Now, Ice Cube, he's seen NWA member who got involved in movies, and after about like 1994, his effectiveness kind of was in question. So this is kind of for people who are newer to rap, but between like 1990 and 93, he dropped a series of albums that were pretty well acclaimed. And I was, to tell you the truth, I was trying to review The Predator, but I just could not like any other song besides Today Was a Good Day. So, but yeah, so with all the fervent, I think that's the correct word, all the hype around the NWA movie, plus Dr. Dre dropped an album this month. It's really kind of straight out of Compton time almost. And so, obviously Ice Cube, he may not be a billionaire like Dre, but that's not to say he doesn't make effective music. And so this 2006 album of his kind of showcase, it was right at the point where rap was kind of obsessed with, more dealing type stuff. And, he translated pretty well to this. It sounds relevant despite the fact that he was probably older than most of those cats. So Lil Jon is enlisted. You'll find Snoop Dogg on there. And, there's just some good stuff. It sounds like an album from California, but the only problem with it is it just runs out of steam. So you can smoke to this, and we'll talk about, there's even a song called Smoke Some Weed, definitely go for that. Why We Thugs, Go to Church is a definite one. The Game Lord, you got a lot of that. These are some good smoke songs. And yeah, so the production is handled really well, but you just don't get the full course. There are 16 songs on this album, so you got to understand that out of those 16, it's a little bit kind of, some of the songs get choppy. Like, one of them has an okay beat, it's pretty good. The Nigga Trap, I like that one, but it just kind of sucks the energy out of you because it's just talking about poverty and, hardships. So there's that one. And growing up, I mean, if you're not really down for reminiscing, it's just not an effective song. Chrome and Paint doesn't quite get it that well. And, there's just a couple other ones. You'll find that I didn't like 6 songs out of the 16, but we'll talk about some of the good ones. Go to Church is one of the best beats on here. I really like the title track, Laugh Now, Cry Later. Doing What It's Supposed to Do is really mellow. Like, that one you might play one day out of nowhere and just, really start playing it. Smoke Some Weed has a really good beat. Child Support's kind of terrorish sounding. These are just some ones to check out. So the unheard songs, these are the 9 songs that I like. Why We Thugs, Smoke Some Weed, Child Support, Doing What It's Supposed to Do, Laugh Now, Cry Later, Go to Church, The Game Lord, Steal the Show. You got a lot of that. So out of those, go for The Game Lord. That one has one of the best beats. Go to Church is a real hype song. Smoke Some Weed's a real effective smoking song. Why We Thugs has a great beat. And you got a lot of that. sounds like you're really intoxicated when you listen to it. So those are some good ones. But most of the ones I listed are effective, so you just have to pick it out. If I, to talk about the weaknesses, it's mainly that there just is not enough, like, there's not enough of what works. I think Ice Cube can songwrite, but the problem with it is that there's no real, volume of what there needs to be. Yeah, there's a smoking song, but there's only one. And, some of these car songs like Chrome and Paint, that I just didn't like that song. If I would have first heard this album, that would have been one that I would have gone to. And, there's not a clone of Go to Church. And, just the energy songs, songs that you're looking for like that. There's really not another song, so people are going to say, oh yeah, I like Ice Cube, but then you're going to find yourself listening to like one or two songs the whole time because the mood just isn't kept. So, obviously some of these songs like that, the Game Lord's a good one, but it's going to affect the social score more than the score just because this is ineffective. Not every person, just because the beat's good, is going to like the rap song. So, just Ice Cube has always been kind of, an average rapper when it comes to getting charting songs that people who aren't super into rap are going to like. But for people who are, it's the same thing just because, like, some of the heavy hitters, like Game Lord, you got a lot of that. Go to church and smoke some weed, but they're just, you need more of those. So, like, he talks about some things like child support, stop snitching, the nigga trap, growing up, and, like, holla at your boy. There's just some of these that, like he says on the album, you get your meat and your vegetables, and that's pretty much the truth. You have to, some of these guys who made records in the 80s, that's what they did. So you just have to take the songs that don't have, like, recreation in mind and still run with it. But it's not, but, if you like beats like I do, you can understand that they're good, but once you sit down and listen, you may not be as hooked. So I'll probably give it a good score, but not a good social score. There was an almost song, and it was called Spittin' Policies. It's got mellow production, but I just couldn't decide why I didn't like it effectively. It's it's right. It packs a punch, but it just is one or the other. So, seeing as I like 9 songs plus the one almost song, 9 out of 16 is about like 60%. So I'm going to give this album a 6.5 out of 10. I know that's really strange considering, I don't know, I've just been giving a lot of records a 7 lately, and I just, it's like, I'd like to give it like a difference. I guess I could give it a 7, just because 9 out of 16, that's really good, seeing as there's only 6 songs I don't like. So, and then there's an almost song on top of that, so yeah, 7, 7.5. So I do recommend it, and Ice Cube has said that he's going to drop an album, but he also dropped some other ones following this album. You'll just have to look out for those. Is this album social? I'm going to give it like a 5 social, just because there's not really that many songs that jump off the page. But, the main thing is when you're with your dogs, it's kind of different to listen to him when he's talking about, paying child support. That's not a topic that's, user friendly. This, computer terms, but it's not one that, you know, is approachable, I guess. So 5, you know, just right in the middle. And I don't really think it can be topped. This is probably an Ice Cube album that I've listened to the most, but like I will say that it's rather solid. So, you know, you just have to listen to it. It's got great beats on here, which is, you know, I just wasn't feeling a lot of those from before. So I will give this album a 7.5 and a 5 social. So subscribe for more fun. Stay tuned for what's coming. And I'm gonna let you know on one of them. One of them's gonna be Metallica. So